and scuba like that, or NT scuba. Or, I don't know how to do it. Oh, good, very good, very good, very good. Okay, take it. Okay, I think it's a time to do, this semester's 2019 introduction to this joint class, introduction to foreign literature on biosystems engineering. My name is Kondo, and as you already know, we have 3 universities joining class, and first of all, maybe you might be embarrassed how to do next. Me too. Sometimes this machine, actually long distance, this lecturing machine would be sometimes that doesn't work well. However, today is very good. So I'm happy to be here and to do this joint class this year too. But anyway, I'd like to start today's class. And as I mentioned, me is Kondo, and let me introduce our side and NTU side and Tsukuba side. Please, Pira Sensei, just say something.
Hello, my name is Gary Pillar, and I look forward to working with you during this semester. Thank you.
Hi, thank you very much. And our TAs, can you say something? 3 TAs. No, you need this microphone.
So, hello, I'm Jackie. I'm from Hong Kong and study here. Like I'm a DE, like doctor first year course now, and
Hi, my name is Hiroki Fukuda. I'm an M2 student. I had been studying in NTU before 3 years ago. Yeah, thank you.
見えないと分かんないね。映ってるかどうか。そう、映ってる。あ、こっちですか。大丈夫。はい。後ろには見えた方がいい。ごめん。
My name is Yu Kamiwa. Nice to meet you. I'm a MR student. Nice to meet you.
はい、ありがとうございます。Professor Suming Chen, can you show your staff and
Okay, my name is Suming Chen, National Taiwan University.
Okay, welcome. I'm Ping Lang Yan. Welcome everyone.
And we also have TA Daniel. There you go. Probably go here.
Good morning. I'm the TA of this class from NTU. I'm Daniel. Thank you.
Okay, that's all from NTU.
Thank you, NTU. And Tsukuba, please.
Okay, so hi, nice to see you. Yes. Oh, thank you. My name is Mutaka Kitamura, professor of the University of Tsukuba. And we have 3 more professors, Dr. Marcos and Dr. Noguchi and Dr. Topa. We have 3 more professors. And our TAs are here, so can you come? Okay. So this is our team.
Hello everyone. My name is Fang Jia, and I come from China. And I am the TA of UT, and I also be the TA of this class last year.
Good morning. I'm also TA of UT. My name is Tomoya Takahashi. Nice to see you. Thank you. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all staffs from 3 universities. So far, we have 7 years, 8 years. Professor Sumi Chen, you remember how many years ago we started this?
2013. 2013. We started class 2013.
7.
Yes.
Seventh year.
7th year. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I'm very glad to have a long time, 7 years, continuously on this joint class. And today, let me do something outline of this class to explain the how you learn, all students among 3 universities from us. And after that, Professor Pira may give you some lectures, how to present in English, how to, not write, how to make a PowerPoint, something like that. Okay, let me start the my part. Okay, so you can see this slide, fine? Okay. This course, joint class, a series of student presentation and discussion. That is the main purpose. Actually, our field, our research field is biosystems engineering, agricultural engineering, through distance learning between Taiwan and Japan. In Japan, Tsukuba and Kyoto and Taiwan, National Taiwan University. And objectives of this course is knowledge, enhancement on biosystems engineering. Our field knowledge is important because many of you are third grade students or fourth grade students, bachelor course. You should learn more about our some technical terms, also technologies in our field. So that is one of them. And the other one would be the communication, in English or even Japanese, fine, between Tsukuba and Kyoto. But Taiwanese people can't understand. But some of them can understand a little Japanese. Fine. Some of you may talk in Chinese, and Fukuda-kun can talk Chinese. So those kind of, anyway, communication, that's important. So the best way would be probably English. So you'd better learn English technical terms and enlarge your international networks. I wish you may make a friends between among these 3 universities. That's one of the purposes. And as I mentioned, agriculture engineering. What's that? That would be 2 curriculums that together. You understand? One of them is the engineering curriculum. That would be pairing up curriculum. Now, I sometimes mentioned that this engineering curriculum is pairing up, step up based on the previous subject. So that means you have to know this first. This is a very fundamental thing, fundamental subject, mathematics, physics, dynamics, mechanics, and based on that, we can learn the something experimental design, also control engineering, electronics and mechatronics, and sensing engineering, imaging. So those kind of things. Pairing up curriculum would be engineering. So you can start from here. You start from here, start with here, and coming down. That's impossible because you don't know the this fundamental subject. Okay, so you have to remember. That's why you have to learn the fundamental some general topics, general subjects until last year, or even now you can learn the faster, right? Then you catch up with this curriculum. And the other curriculum would be this side. Agriculture and food science, animal science, and agronomy, biology, blah, 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 these ones. These ones are different from these. This is a piling up engineering curriculum, but this is a knowledge accumulation type. So that means you can start any subject. For example, you start with food science, fine. Okay, start food, and next would be soil, fine. Next would be animal is okay, or you can start with agronomy, fine, and next would be aquaculture, fine. That doesn't matter. Anyway, you may accumulate knowledge in your brain. No? Doesn't matter the order to learn. So that is agricultural sciences. That is the knowledge-based, accumulation subject. So two different type of curriculum would be mixed. That would be very unique agricultural engineering some curriculum. Please think about that. You need both. And I think many of you are going to start your own research project. Research also, piling up way. I think maybe a little bit easier to see. This one, your senpai, your seniors, research is important, or previous literature, previous papers should be learned by yourself. Then you have to understand what they have done so far, and based on the previous research result, and you may pile up. Then so far last year's senpai students may reach here, and what you are going to do, that would be next step up, next step, one more step up. That would be your research. So that means that you have to know these previous papers, previous literatures. Okay, so today I'm going to introduce some of literatures that you learn the English or Japanese or Chinese, doesn't matter. Anyway, that you have to learn more about the previous researches. And our society, academic society, so far, a long time ago, that we started the machinery researches, and this range, the 1970s, also 1990s, that we have automation and the sensing researches. And after getting the 21st century, informatization. Then currently, we are very much micro scale, macro scale, and diversified researches are being conducted. So I can say the very much diversified mechanism or mechanization, and target would be the rice, grains, and the vegetables, and some cells, also some fruits, or even life science, health, many things. So please think about those kind of target would be your research topics. So, however, what I can say to you now is everything related with food production, and another another aspect is environmental conservation. They are trade-off relation, but we have to solve those problems together for your generation, for your life, for our lives. So please think about those topics would be our research field. And that is just a JSON, but we are collaborating with CIM Taiwan. This is a Chinese Institute Agriculture Machinery, and KSAM Korean Society Agriculture Machinery. So we often collaborate together. We have ISMAB International Symposium every 2 years. Next year will be held in Taiwan here. I wish you may join if you have a chance, and you may make a friendship with them. And of course, this kind of meeting and another EAEF, that would be the international this schedule, and that is first page. And second page, you can see EAEF journal, number 2, EAEF journal. That would be from this CIAM, KSAM, JSAM. So together we publish, we issue this second EAEF journal. So you can learn from this too for your presentation. Of course, this book also okay. Anyway, you learn much. And we have to think about not only academia, but government and industry researchers also joining this kind of symposium. So it would be fun. And we are thinking now East Asian group, but hope we may enlarge in the future when you are graduating our schools. Maybe you may cooperate with other Asian, African, and other world people. Okay, what you have, your mission is very important to learn our field technologies, from this book or this EAEF journal. Okay, and you can based on what you learn, you have to make a presentation in English, right? And or you may, if you are fourth grade students, your own research project fine. Of course, your favorite subject, your favorite topics is okay. Please think about how to decide, how to determine your own presentation title. But should be related with biosystems engineering, our field. And yeah, as I mentioned, this book or these books, yeah, you can borrow. And we have many books that tell us And after this, Pira Sensei may give you some lecture about how to present. But you should know that the structure of PowerPoint would be, of course, title, name, grade affiliation, and introduction first, materials, and the methods and the methodologies, and result, discussion, finally, conclusion. Don't forget this, if you had papers. This is the contents of your PowerPoint. And Professor Suming Chen and Kitamura Sensei, you agree? I don't know how many students register this class, joint class. But last year, we have this presentation, 10-minute presentation and 5-minute discussion. Today also try to do this among 3 universities. Is this fine? Or if many students register this class, maybe 8 minutes or a little shorter, or a little shorter discussion. But we may try to do this. Fine. If you give me your opinions.
I think it's fine. We have 8 students this semester from NTU. 8.
Okay. 8. How about Kitamura Sensei, Tsukuba?
We have 5 students.
5.
Yes.
8 and 5. How many? About 20. About 20.
Yeah.
Expect 15 continue. So totally about 30. Totally 30 students. So how many times then?
We have 9 times.
9 times. 9 times. 3, maybe 3 students. Maybe possible. 3 students each day. Almost 3 or 4 students.
3, 4 students.
Fine. One student occupy the 20 minutes, maybe, including change and change the materials, also change the computers, 20 minutes each. 4 might be critically okay. Okay, so try to have a 10 minutes presentation, 5 minutes discussion. Okay?
I think it's okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's my explanation about this class. Is there any question from students or any the NTU or Tsukuba students also, even Kyoto, anyone? Raise a hand if you have a question. Fine. Maybe you may give us a question later. Okay. If nothing, we may move to the Pilar Sensei's presentation lecture.
Okay, as Professor Kondo introduced me, today I'm going to be trying to talk to you a bit about how to prepare for a presentation. And one of the things that I'd like to try and emphasize in this course is that in that preparation, you have to think very carefully about who you are presenting to, i.e. your audience. And so today I'd like to divide my introduction into the first part is looking at the need, where I'm going to start to get you to think about what it means to give something to the audience, to prepare a presentation for them, not for you. And then in the second part, once we've understood the need, I'd like to go on to preparing for that presentation. And as Professor Kondo introduced it, I'll be preparing it in a manner that is often referred to as IMRAD, Introduction, Materials and Methods, Discussion, and Conclusion at the end. Okay, and finally, also a very important part, you are communicating with humans. You need to be able to deliver in a way that is getting the audience's interest and wanting the audience to gain more knowledge from you. So you need to engage with them, and that will be what that third part is. Okay, but before I start, I'd like you to get out your smartphone or your tablet or your computer, laptop, and I'd like you to go to this site, www.menti.com, and put in this code And what I'm going to get you to do is to write your current research interest. What are you interested in? Okay, so if you have your smartphone or tablet, please go to that site and put in that code. There is no space. It is all just one number, but it's easier to read with a space there. And tell me, what is your research interest? Okay, we're getting some interesting words there. Medicinal plants, bioreactor, laboratories, transmission light, so optics, rural development, DNA editing, mobile robots. So already you're starting to see quite a large diversity of interests here. And what that means is that if you're presenting to this audience, many people may not be familiar with your particular area of research interest. So you need to introduce it in a way that helps the other people who are not so familiar with your research area to be able to come and understand what you're presenting. So rather than dive in at the deep end with lots of details, first you have to help the audience to understand what they are doing. Okay, so there are many different ones: food safety, food systems, gender, optics, medicinal plants, environmental sciences, robotics, water purification. It's all over the place. So please remember that when you come up to present, that's part of the audience that you're trying to help understand what your research topic is about. Okay. Okay, so in order to be able to do that, to help the audience understand it, you have to have the ability to be able to analyze and synthesize what the aims of your research are in order to first introduce it to the audience and create an audience-centered communication. So let's do a exercise, a mind experiment, okay? Let's pretend this is the world's knowledge. This round circle here represents all the knowledge in the world at the moment. You are born, and then at an early age, you go off to school and you start to learn some of the basics, some very part in primary school. Then off you go to middle school, to high school, and now when you start to get to university, you're starting to specialize. Your knowledge is not what everybody else has, this part here. You are starting now to have knowledge that other people don't necessarily have. So how do you go about communicating with those people? So if we take it further, you go to do a master's course, you're even more specializing now from what other people have done. Go even further, do your PhD, you're getting to the frontier, the very edge of knowledge. Okay? And so now your perspective is very narrow and focused. But because you have been doing a lot of research in that, it's very clear in your mind, but not so clear in everybody else's mind. So if you then want to introduce your work, you can't go on and say, this is my research here, without giving context, without helping people to understand what you're talking about. And so in this case, you're now extending the knowledge of human nature. But in order to extend that knowledge, it's no good just doing the research and getting great results. Because as Professor Kondo introduced, science and engineering is built on the results of previous people. And so if you cannot help other people to understand what your results mean, why they are so important, then you haven't added to that pyramid. You need to be able to, the final very important step for science and engineering is communicating that results to others so that they can use it, not have it all up in your mind and then disappear when you finish doing research or to go somewhere else. Okay, so in your mind, that research area or the presentation that you're going to give in this course, it's very clear, all the details, but that's your mind. The mind of the presenter, the audience. This is from the audience perspective. This is the PhD. It's a very small part that not very many people understand. So how do you get people whose knowledge is around here to understand this point out there is extremely important. So communication is your job as a engineer or a scientist. Communicating is this is in your mind, to create in the help the audience to understand this is the background for this and this is what I'm going to be researching. Help them first to understand why this research is so important. Okay, so that's the way. So let's go on now to the preparation. So how do we do that? Okay, so the introduction, materials, results, and discussion thing is often compared to an hourglass. An hourglass is where you have sand in, you tip it upside down, and the sand slowly goes through the middle of it. Okay, and so if you're starting at the introduction, here you really want to set the context. What you're trying to use words and ideas that everybody in the audience can understand. Don't start out with your methods or your hypothesis, because that is already clear in your mind, but you have to help the audience understand why this is important, what are the issues in solving the problem, and what is the part that this research is focused on. And then how are they going to try and solve that problem? And then you can talk about the methods, results, and importantly here you're starting to say, this is what these results mean, helping other people to understand what that results are. For you, those data, because you have understood everything about them, they mean information and knowledge for you. But if somebody who hasn't done that reading or that research about that area, those data points are just data points. They don't become information for them. So you need to help them understand what does those results mean. So set the context, highlight the problems. So it goes from the general to specific. You're focusing in on the method. Then what are they trying to find? What was done and how? So now this is the problem. This is how they are going to do it. So you're helping the audience to then expect next time she or he is now going to introduce the results. This is the results that I'm expecting to hear. You're helping the audience, to prepare to understand what you're going to say if you're following this path through the presentation procedure. Then what did they find? Usually the longer sections. What details are necessary? So one of the traps, one of the things that often students fall into when giving a presentation of a paper is they are trying to report all the details of that paper. But that is not really adding value. You're not helping the audience to understand. You need to take just the most important parts of those research paper that you choose and say that this is the most important part, and helping the audience to understand in that 10 minutes, you only have 10 minutes, this is important. But if you try and put in lots and lots of information, you're changing that presentation from being, in engineering terms, from having a strong signal to having lots of noise. And the signal is going to be lost in the noise. So by reducing the amount of only the necessary details, you're increasing the strength of the signal of your presentation, not confusing the audience with lots of noise or, yes, not helping them to understand what the main results are. And then finally, from a 10-minute presentation, you cannot expect the audience to understand and take home all the details that you have given in that 10 minutes. So in the discussion and the conclusion, you want to make sure you tell the audience, this is what I think is the most important part. So if you tell them what is the most important part, then they are more likely to understand and remember that part. But if you just give them lots of details and it sort of goes through one ear and out the other ear, then they are not going to remember much at all. So by using this method, you are doing the hard work to help it make it easier for your audience to understand the presentation results. Okay, so normally when you're reading it, it's introduction, methods, results, and discussion. But I would encourage you to not do it in this chronological order. Rather, I would suggest that first you start with the results. What is the story I want to tell? What is the most important part? So if it is a long paper, there are many results. So which one do I think is the most important? So then if you know what result you're going to focus on, you are starting already to create, this is a story I want to tell in this presentation. And then when you know what results you're going to be using, then it's easy to write the methods, because then you know I have to tell them how this was measured or how that was measured. Then go on to the discussion. What do these results mean? Help the audience to get some of the main take-home messages. And then finally, the title and the introduction are trying to focus in on this story. If you start out with the introduction, your introduction often goes everywhere. There's not a focus for it. By doing it in this order, you are helping yourself to create a story that is consistent from start to finish. Okay, so for the result structure, provide the big picture. So first of all, your methods into 3 stages, for instance. What was the most important part of stage 1? Then what is the most important part of stage 2 or stage 3? And then, if necessary, some of the smaller details. It's by having that block thing, you're having like a signpost that says, this is the first step, this is the second step, you are helping the audience to take in the details and give them structure, and giving them really only the core data that helps them to understand the story. Okay, so tips for results. Okay. So, summarizes the finding rather than the data in great detail. Now I want you to tell me, is this good or bad? So good is thumbs up and bad is thumbs down. Okay, so summarize, so the results, summarize the findings rather than data in detail. Is this good or bad? Okay, how about Taiwan? And to you, is it good or bad? No response. Okay, so it is, oops, this one is good. It is, you are doing the hard work rather than just being a newspaper reporter who's just giving all the details without any understanding. Emphasizes only the main points from the tables and figures. So the tables and figures are, they can tell a lot of information very easily. So rather than just repeat all that information, you tell the audience what is the most important part or thing in that table or that graph. Again, you are helping the audience to quickly appreciate what are the important points of that presentation. Okay, so let's do a quiz now. So go back to that same www.menti site. Okay, so please go to this number now, 543506. In the results quiz, which ones are correct? Results obtained. Okay. Okay, so most of you are getting it. Most of you are understanding that the core results are easily identified. So just putting a graph there doesn't necessarily help the audience to, the readers or the audience to identify it. By having results not compared, it is like having a point in space. This is the data. It has no meaning for the audience. But if you tell them that the trend was going like this, and then suddenly it's shot up here, you know that that point is an important point. Or if it's going along like this, and it's what was predicted, you know it's been predicted. That gives the audience more ability to understand the context of that. It's helping that point go from being just a data point to some information about what has changed or not. So this result obtained not compared is not helpful. It is just a newspaper report.
Excuse me, Professor Peter.
Amount of detail.
Could you read
a large amount of detail? So in that case, again, you're creating lots more noise. If it's full of everything, the eye doesn't know where to go. You're not helping the audience to understand that data. So this one is the most important one. Okay, so now that you've got the results section there, and you've picked out the most important results that you're going to do, now you want to come back and look at how were those results obtained. And rather than just repeating in chronological order, this is experiment 1, experiment 2, experiment 3, better to say, we did this in 3 steps. The first step was identify the fluorescence peaks in this particular compound. Then identify what compounds were producing those peaks. And then third, we're going to then model how those peaks can be used to monitor some change in the product that we are looking at. So this is giving the overall picture of how the methods were used in a logical fashion, not in this is the order that we did it in. By having it in a logical fashion, you're helping the audience to understand. And then having subtitles in the materials methods. So image capture, modeling. That is like signpost again, making sure that the audience is following you along the same pathway. Okay, so if we can go back now to the methods quiz. So go back to that same place there, and I'd like you to try and answer the next question. Okay. So methods quiz. Structure clearly defined by heading. Uses acronyms like NTU or KU or TU. Okay, so you're getting the idea. Okay, so as many of you recognize, making the structure clearly defined by headings is like creating signposts on your map of things. I would argue that use of acronyms or very expert words or keywords that only experts understand is going to confuse many in the audience. If at all possible, try and minimize those acronyms or use simple words to explain them when you first introduce it into your presentation. So this is not so good. Contains your judgments. Okay. The methods and materials is really about helping the audience to gain trust in what you are saying. If you have, I believe, that is a personal judgment. It's not based on evidence. So in materials and methods, if you are using uncommon methods and you explain the why you choose to do that, you are also saying, if you don't believe me, or if you suspect I've used the wrong method, go and check it out. You are helping to create in the audience's mind a beginnings of credibility, of trust in what you are saying. But if you just say, listen, they did the greatest research, just believe me, very few people will. So you, in this materials and methods section, you really need to work at helping the audience to evaluate the research that you are presenting in a way that they will believe, not just by saying, they did this or did that, but why did they do that? Or why did I choose to do it this way? That is the more important part of that introduction and materials section. Okay. Okay, so we go now to the discussion. Again, keeping on that focus on the main important points and showing what is the interpretation of those results. What do those results mean? Explain why, if you got this result, it was good or bad or was unexpected. So often there is an image of, if you get a negative result, that is bad. But if you have in the introduction explained why the literature would predict that we would find this result, but then you'd find some different result, that is in fact a bonsai moment. You have found something that the current understanding is not telling the right, was not predicting the right one. So now from this result, we have to go back and think about what we've understood to date and maybe change our thinking. So by having this interpretation, by showing this is what the literature expected, you are making in some cases, a negative result, even a better result than a positive or what was expected. And finally, what are the implications? What are the future research that could be done to further advance the ideas in this research? Okay, so again, to the same website. Discussion. Restates major results, claims benefits beyond the result performed, hides limitations of research, directly related to presentation title. Okay, so most of you got that it restates major results. So you are now condensing it, helping the audience, if they're going to remember only a few things, what few things you think are important. And it is also directly related to the presentation title. The title is setting what the story is. The methods are trying to hone in on that story. The results are telling what that story is about. And the discussion should also be consistent with all the previous things. So that's right. But this one here, in the discussion, there should be no new results, no new data, no new references. unless they are backing up interpretations. So the new results are more appropriately in the results section. The discussion section is to try and help the audience understand what those results mean. Okay, so finally we come to the introduction. Now we can look at how can we make that introduction best introduce the topic of the story that we have created. Your audience doesn't go to sleep and makes the effort to listen and try and understand why you are giving this presentation. They have many choices. You have to make it so that they want to make the effort to understand using. So you set the context, defines the problem. This is the part of the problem that I am going to be looking at, or what they looked at, and this is how they tried to solve that problem or to resolve the issues there. So it's a little bit like my image of it is here. There's lots of this in this background. There's lots of things that could be researched, but of those ones, this is the major issues that I think are important. This part is what I'm going to be looking at, or what they looked at. And so this is why we chose to do this. You're giving them the reason by narrowing it down that why is this so important? Not just saying this is what we did. If you did that, you've given them no reason to try and understand. And it's what I called in that previous one, is creating that context for why should they be interested in this little point out here. Okay, so I'll go through this with just the slides, not through the internet. Okay, so it's prepared by experts, for experts. Again, the experts, if you prepare it for experts, the introduction, you're losing most of your audience. They're going to go to sleep. Finishes with the expected outcome. So by showing that you know the literature, you know what it would predict, you are helping the audience to believe what you're going to say next. You're saying, look, I've done my research, I know my subject well, and this is what is predicted by that. And so you are helping the audience to make their own evaluation in one that is more favorable for you. So that's part of what that introduction is. But if you jump straight into the details, you don't give the audience a chance to do that. Okay. So the next one I'd like to do is look at the slides. Okay. So what is the purpose of slides? I would argue that it is to gain and keep the audience's attention on you. You are the focus, the superstar, the person they should be looking at. If there's lots of information on this slide, their eyes will go to that slide and they'll be trying to read that, and your voice will just be noise in the background. So try and keep your slides as a supplement, a help for the audience to understand what you are saying. Okay. It also shows the organization of your ideas. Okay, so in that introduction, this is the context area. This is what part of the research area that I'm more interested in. This is actually the part that I'm going to be doing this time, and this is how I'm going to do it. You are helping the audience to understand the path as well as gain trust in what you are saying. And it helps the audience to focus on the main points. So these slides shouldn't have all the details. They should just have, this is what, if you only remember one thing from this slide, this is what it should be. So it isn't, though, a way to deliver your content. It's not, if you come up here with lots of things here, what you end up doing is looking at the slide and talking to the slide. You're not talking to the audience. You're not communicating. So by having lots of information, that you are actually making it harder for yourself to actually give a good presentation. Because if you have lots of details here and you don't tell everybody every detail, they're going to say, why didn't you just talk about that? But if there's only a few details here and you forget something, nobody knows. Safe. It is easier for you as a presenter. And it's also not your notes. It's help for the audience. It's not, which is telling a story. And it's been telling a story for hundreds of years. And one of the key factors about it is it doesn't have lots of details, just some important points there. Creating that thing. And in order to keep it simple, keep the font large. If you have to have font that is smaller than 18 font size, that means you haven't cut out lots of the detail. By keeping it large, you can only have a few points there. And it makes it easier for the audience to understand. So a suggestion is 24 for the big ones, and for the labels like this, it is 16. So in this case, in this slide, I have used font size. So this slide is about preparation. This is the most important. Then I have used color. This are the two key ideas I want you to understand. I've used simple and big in the color to identify the two key points of that. And then for the smaller detail that maybe even not necessary is at a smaller font. So I've used that font, color, and size to help the audience. I've been talking for 2 minutes. If they don't remember what I've talked about for 2 minutes, these two key words is what I want you to remember. So as a rule of thumb, if you're giving a presentation, one slide should be about 1 or 2 minutes. So if you're giving a 10-minute slide, between maybe 5 and at maximum 10. But if you are getting towards 10 slides, you are putting much more pressure on yourself, because you now have to talk lots of things, lots of details, and you're looking at the slides and coming over here and jumping around and doing that. By keeping it smaller, concentrated, you're not only helping the audience, you're helping yourself. Keep it clear. Use simple font, not lots of fancy font or font or colors that don't have a clear contrast. So, okay. So colors to maximize contrast are important. Okay. Also, in slides, you can use visuals. This is a theme of each year. They decide what is the most important kanji or represent for this year. That one kanji represents thinking, quite detailed ones. You can use that same thing for your slides. Use visuals that help the audience to understand things that would be much more difficult for you to explain in words. Use contrast, different colors, size to emphasize. Pictures, and to simplify complex concepts. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. And be consistent. So in each of these slides, I've had this white background and this path leading into the forest. My image for presentations is you want to create this path for your audience. So if you jump straight into the middle of the forest, they don't know where they are. But if you have this path leading into it, it makes it much easier for them to understand that presentation. Okay, so finally, I'd like to work at delivery. Okay, so if you come up here and show that you are not so interested in helping people to explain, to understand what your presentation is about, you're not giving the audience a reason to listen. So you want to make sure that they can hear you. Because if they can't hear you, well, they're not going to be able to get the message. Okay. And slowly enough for audience to follow, and try not to read too much. If you're reading too much, you're really focusing on the details too much, I would suggest. Okay. Engage with the audience. Make sure that you are keen for them to understand your presentation. Audience, not talking to your slides or talking to your computer or talking to your shoes. You are talking to the audience. And speak to the audience. Use gestures. Be enthusiastic. So this is the kanji for being happy. There is the concept of happy, but the gesture also is showing content. And so in communication theory, they often say that communication, 70% of communication is non-verbal. The way in which the person is behaving, the way in which they are trying to interact with you, and facial expressions. Okay, so finally, I'd like to give a short model presentation. I won't give the presentation itself, but I'll just point out some details. Okay. Look, I start off my presentation, this one called Can Shearing Be Automated? This title, I hope, is going to be set the story for the whole presentation. And then I guess that some of the audience don't understand what shearing is. So next I use visuals. We have this woolly, hot sheep. I got this working shearer. And finally, after lots of cutting, we get the wool and a happy sheep. That's what shearing is. That visual helped, I think, people understand the thing much better than if I tried to do it just by words alone. Okay, and then I quickly go from setting this context to these are the big things. This guy is not happy. He's got a sore back, and he's having a sheep that's jumping around and holding everything is using a lot of energy. So it's labor intensive. It's strenuous, back-breaking, and because nobody likes to do this, you have to pay a lot. New Zealand or Australia, you've got more sheep than humans. So you need to be able to do this. These are the main points that need to be looked at. Okay. So again, set the story. This is the introduction. This is what I'm trying to look at. I'm telling you it's going to be about automating shearing. Why are the problems? Why should they automate shearing? These are the problems. Red letter to say this is what I'm going to be focusing on. So next one, whoops. What are the main requirements? It's the sheep. They're not happy. They want to be moving. They don't like being cut. So you have to be able to do lots of things. Delicate sensors, real-time expert systems. Those are the key factors. There are actually many more, but I chose for this thing, I'm going to be talking about these key factors. How do they do it? Again, I explain that, but I won't this time. This is the actual results. And notice in this one here, when I'm giving the results, I don't say shearing time equals 2 minutes, 56 seconds. Because if I just said 2 minutes, 56 seconds, what does that mean? Is it good? Is it bad? you don't know. Most of you, I guess, would not know what that result meant. But by saying it is 1/5 the time of humans, you now have context to this information by thinking about, would the audience understand what 1.5 is 1.5 good or bad? Okay, so I've done the hard work there. And then in the final part, conclusions, rather than have lots of things, I've cut it down to 3 simple things of what the end results were. Okay, so that's a model slide presentation. Okay, so in conclusion, a presentation isn't something that you inherit. It is not in your genes. It is a muscle that you can strengthen by practice, and practice often. And it's a muscle that if you strengthen, or skill, if you strengthen, you can use in academia, in government, in private commerce. It will be of benefit to you throughout your career, whether you become an academic or go into the commercial world or into government organizations. Okay, so in order to do that, practice out loud. By vocalizing it, you are helping yourself to prepare for it. Because if you haven't practiced out loud, when you come up here, you're a little bit nervous, your mind goes white, and you lose a lot of the ability to process that information on the spot. But if you can practice out loud beforehand, you're making it much easier on yourself to be able to relax and concentrate on the performance. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. Are there any questions?
Anyone from Kyoto?
Okay.
Please, yeah, do it.
Okay.
Wait. You need the microphone.
Will we get to see the slides afterwards?
Oh, yes. Each year, NTU creates a web page where the presentation file is located.
Okay, another.
Any other questions? Okay. How about in NTU? Are there any questions in NTU?
Any questions from our side or comments? Is your microphone, please?
Okay.
You need to use the microphone, otherwise you can.
Switch off your microphone. Maybe you switch off your, because both are. Okay. I just wanted to know when we will know when we will know when we will do our presentation.
Okay, the question is when we're going to when we students know their presentation time. The TAs, I think the TAs of 3 university will arrange the schedule for each student. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do later.
Yes, so usually each university will in the coming week arrange with the TAs for presentation titles, and then we will arrange for the first presentation of the first 3 for the coming time when we get together again for the joint class. Are there any other questions from NTU?
Any more?
Professor Biller, I'm asking you, how do you define detail is important, the information is important, and I'm not sure about the definition of that. Thank you so much.
Okay. So normally in a research manuscript or report, or even in your own research, you have lots of information. And that information is too much to present in any one short 10-minute period. So in order to make it more applicable to that short period of time, you need to decide, this time, this is the story I want to tell. And the story shouldn't be, this is what they did, like a newspaper reporter. They started at A and they finished at Z. That is not adding value. The ability that you are creating is you are adding value by telling the audience of all this detail, this is the part I was most interested in, or the most important part of this research. And in order to tell the audience what that part is, two results are the most important results that tell that story. If there are other results that only have partial influence on the story, then if there's not enough time, don't include them. I would argue from looking at in previous years that I have not yet seen very many students who have cut too much detail out. Don't be scared. What I'm trying to say, don't be scared of cutting detail out. It hasn't been a problem. Nobody has cut too much detail out as far as I've seen so far. Okay?
Your T-shirt is very cute.
Totoro. Scuba University. Are there any questions from Scuba University?
Yeah, thank you for your lecture. So, any questions to Professor Peter? No? Okay, so no questions from Scuba. Thank you.
Thank you. If that's the case, I'll hand back to Professor Kondo.
Thank you very much, Peter Sensei. Every year. We have 10 minutes. Additional information from me to you. That we are going to score all of your presentations by this kind of sheets. That would be presentation score, response score, and material score. So that means every year we are supposed to give you 5 points each items. So that means presentation 5 points, response 5 points, and material 5 points. Maybe similar with NTU and Tsukuba also, probably. And so that's why material points would be the PowerPoint. How to create good PowerPoint. And response is when you receive the any question from audience, from NTU, from other universities, or even KU, how appropriately reply to the some audience. And the presentation ability also, of course, evaluated. Same that how to convey what you are thinking, what you learn using PowerPoint to all audience. How to convince like that. So please practice. As Peter Sensei mentioned. So I wish no paper. Some of the students sometimes reading blah blah blah. This is something. So that's why they got this result, and the conclusion is this. No strikers. You have to keep in your mind what you are going to say. No paper. The all presentation, some words and some phrases in your mind, and that would be usable for the next time some communication. That definitely would be good. Just a 10-minute presentation is fine. You can do in your mind. So don't read paper like this. So that is and what I'd like to say. Another thing would be the we have these comment sheets. Maybe from next time the not so much. Yeah, this is comments from audience to presenters. Of course, you may directly ask question to presenters, but we may have not enough time sometimes. So you may write down what's your question or your opinion. Your comments can be conveyed to the presenters later. Okay, so please write this one down, and TA may cut the each presenter's part to be and correct all of your comments to send to Taiwan, to send to Tsukuba. Okay, so that is the comment sheet we have. Next week, not next week. We have Japan, unfortunately, next week holidays. So October 21st, we may start the presentation. Maybe the student number ratio would be around 20, 15, maybe 2 Kyoto University students presentation and 1 from NTU or 1 from Tsukuba, like that. That kind of ratio may be appropriate for 9 times. Okay, so far, any question? Okay, if nothing, yes.
I think we have the student needed to have your PowerPoint and Professor Pierce's PowerPoint that you presented today. The TA in Kyoto University could send it to Daniel until you here, and we can upload to the SEBA system. The website of SEBA is on the schedule, the time schedule. So you can. I also send you the password yesterday. So probably student can go to the web and download the files to read.
Okay.
To prepare the.
Okay. Thank you very much. I didn't check my email today. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, we'll do it after this. TA, please do that. Any other thing we have to? Yes. Wait.
Thank you. My question is, since this course is biosystems engineering, when we're choosing an article, whether with our own research or an article that might be in someone else's research, do you want us to focus, or should the article focus to more on the system side, like the actual machine, or on the bio side? I'm not sure if you know.
No, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. As long as it within the article it has some type of biosystems.
What's your major?
So mine is in biohealth. So I focus more on, I guess, medicinal plants. And
Fine. We are now working on the medicine and some life science. So don't worry. Your own researches or your own interest, some topics would be okay.
Okay, so I can use something where biosystems how it's being applied in my research.
Fine. That's
okay.
Good. Very nice. That's very nice.
Okay.
Anything else? If nothing, we'd like to have self-introduction time. Every year we do from KU, fine? Maybe we have many people. Please say something. Can you focus? Fine. Can you focus on the students? Just one word. Okay, please focus. Zoom in. Do it. Yeah. Name and
Hi, my name is Akihiro Yokoi. I'm fourth grade. Okay.
Go ahead.
My name is Akihiro Yokoi. I'm fourth grade.
Fourth grade. Okay, fine. Okay, fine.
My name is
Hope. Yeah.
My name is Remi Segut. I'm fourth grade.
Fourth. Okay, good.
Hi, my name is Junpei Ueda, postgrad student of undergraduate. I'm studying about egg in biosensing engineering laboratory. Thank you.
Good. That's good.
My name is Ayumi Hiraoka. I'm third grade. Thank you.
My name is Hirono Narumi. I'm third grade. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Higashi Kenki. I'm fourth grade. Thank you.
Fourth grade.
I'm Takaya Hashimoto. Fourth year at bachelor. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Hi, my name is Jongbin Kim from Korea, and my research project is about multipass effect. Thanks.
Good. He's Korean.
My name is Wakama Tanabe. I'm third student.
Third grade.
My name is Rina Tanaka. I'm a third year student.
Hi, I'm Mai Miyazaki, and I'm in the third year.
I'm Tamami Matsuoka. I'm also in the third year. Looking forward to working with you.
Hi, my name is Yudo. I'm third grade.
I'm Shuhei Konishi. I'm third grade of Kyoto University.
Hi, my name is Junya Sakuta from 30th student. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hiroki Tamura, and I'm also this third grade. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abdul. I'm an exchange student from studying at University of Malaya. And I'm a final year student.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm Isaki Hatano, and third grade. Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Sota Ito. I'm third grade too. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fumiki Matsumura, and I'm in third year. Thank you.
Okay, that's all. Please, NTU introduction.
My name is Will, and this is my first grade here. And I hope we'll learn a lot from presentation. Thank you.
What's that? The T-shirts? That's a Totoro? Yearly Totoro? Or any other cartoon?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, this is Totoro. And
Totoro.
My favorite.
Oh, good.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Pira Sensei, correct.
I very
Totoro.
like this T-shirt.
Okay, good. Very nice.
My name is Yijing Wu, and it's my first year in NTU. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Liu, and this is my first year in NTU. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Zhu Wei, and I'm studying master degree, and this is my first year.
Master.
Thank you.
My name is Paul, and I'm from Thailand, and this is my I'm a freshman at NTU.
Hello, my name is Bolon Chen, and I'm grade 4 student in NTU, and my major is biomechatronics.
Hi, I'm from Chile, and my name is Yuan. I'm studying biomechatronics engineering, and I'm in my third year.
Hi, I'm Hao Chen Zhou. I'm a first year graduate student from NTU, and I'm majoring in biomechatronics engineering. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maxime Fleury. I come from France. I'm here as an exchange student in 5th year, and I study all the biotechnology fields. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's all from NTU. Now, Zugubat's turn.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ryosuke Sugio, and I'm 3rd year, and I'm interested in water purification. Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Yu Takeshi. I'm a 3rd grade student in bachelor degree. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Emi Tsuyuki. I'm a 3rd year student and I'm majoring in environmental engineering. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Furonda. I'm from the Philippines and I'm 3rd year agrobio student. Thank you.
Thank you, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Very much international, nationalized class. Very nice. Is there anything question? Fine. That it's already past noon. Maybe we may meet again 2 weeks later, right? October 21st. Of course, each school has each time for continuous lecture. Okay, if nothing special, see you 2 weeks later. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much for your attending. Thank you. See you next
2 weeks
time.
from now.
Thank you. Bye.
连线关掉就留台大就好。According to the schedule, we have a joint class.